Hello, my crafty friends. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Linda Edwards, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And I'm going to show you how to make this fun slider card. Look at that. Isn't that just so fun? And you could easily slip a little gift card in there if you'd like to. I was inspired to make this card by a friend of mine, Deb Peekins. She gave this to us as part of a swap, a card swap. So a card swap, if you're not familiar, is like a cookie swap. You get together with a group of people. This was our team, and you make, say if there are 5 people in the swap, you make 5 of one kind of card, and then you get 5 different cards in return. So this was Deb's. Isn't that cool? I just had never seen that before, that fun fold. So I really loved it. I held on to it. Obviously, I got this last year for Christmas, and I'm bringing that to you today. I've since seen it on a couple of other demonstrators' websites. It's really fun and really easy, and I'm going to show you how to put this one together. So I'm using the Lovely Arrangements stamps and dies. It is available. It's an online exclusive at Stampin' Up, and you can find that in my Stampin' Up store at craftyherondesigns.com. And any of the materials that you see that I'm going to use today can be found there in my store. And if you do not currently work with a Stampin' Up demonstrator, I'd love to help you to inspire your creativity. Now, this card is actually also one that we were making in my March card class. I host classes in Greensboro, Georgia. So if you're ever in the area, I'd love to have you join me. And if you've purchased the card kit for that class, this is your video, you will have these pieces all in your card kit. And some of them will already be pre-cut, as you can see there. So to get started, you will have the card base, which is just, this is Secret C, and it's just 5.5 by 4 1/4. And then you'll have kind of the inner workings of the card. And this is basic white. I just did the regular basic white. I don't think you need the thick because there are quite a few layers here. So this one is 5 1/4 by 8.5, so it's just a little bit shorter than a standard card. And it is scored at 2 3/4 and at 6 3/4. So I'm gonna go ahead and fold and burnish that right now. So you'll see the shorter side is on the right and the longer side is on the left. So go ahead and fold and burnish that. Make sure that it lines up right. And then we're gonna set that aside. Then you'll also have a couple of pieces for the inside. This is another piece of Secret C, and it is, I don't remember what it is here. Look at my little notes here. 4 1/8 by 3 1/4. Sorry about that. 4 1/8 by 3 1/4, and we're going to score that. If you've gotten this already, it's already scored for you. And then there's a smaller piece of basic white, and it is 3 1/4 by 4 1/8. So as you can see, they're going to go together this way, and we're going to score. So let me bring in my scoring tool. You can either use a Stampin' trimmer, or you can go ahead and use the scoreboard. So what I like to do for this, you're gonna score it at 3/8 of an inch on the short side. So I'm gonna make sure I have my scoring blade, which is the light gray blade. I moved the other cutting blade. First thing I did was move it out of the way, because I can't tell you how many times I have inadvertently scored or cut instead of scored. So for this one, I'm going to use the right side of the trimmer. That's one of the things I like about the Stampin' Up! Trimmer, is you can actually measure on either side. The top is centimeters, so don't be fooled by that if you're in the US and you're using imperial measurements. And then as you can see, the longest marks are 1 inch, marks 1, 2, 3, 4. and there's a 1-inch mark on the right side. So the next shorter would be 1/2 inch, and then 1/4 inch, and then 1/8 is below that. So we are going to score this at 1/8, so that's a 1/4 inch. So excuse me, at 3/8. So I'm going to go to these lines. So it's 1, 2, 3/8. Let me see if I can get a pointer of that. So 1/8, 2/8, 3/8. So I'm going to go ahead and move that over there, line that up, and score it. There we go. And when you're scoring cardstock, I was pressing pretty hard, and you saw that I went over it several times to get a good score mark. So let me move that out of the way. And then this is going to be folded and burnished as well. So that's our inside mechanism there. Set that aside, and then we've got the rest is just all layers. So you'll just take your cardstock layers, and I'm using, this is actually double-sided, or excuse me, two-tone cardstock. It's Pool Party. I'm using two-tone because I had some left over from some other projects that I did. You could use regular Pool Party, or you can use the two-tone. So whatever you decide, and obviously you can use other designer series paper and colors that work for you. Now, the first thing, because it's two-tone, I was like, okay, I want to kind of look and see which color do I want to use. So you'll decide that. Do you want to go with the lighter color or the darker color? And then I think for these, it works either way. You can kind of see. But for this side of for this pattern, I thought, there's the back of it. I thought, maybe there is a preference, but I think either one is going to work. So I'm going to make the original one I made with the darker side. This one I'm going to make with the lighter side. So your cardstock layers are, let's see. So the cardstock is 2.5 by 5. You need two that are 2.5 by 5. And then the designer series paper is actually going to be just 1/8 of an inch smaller. So that one is 4 7/8 by 2 3/8. But on this one, I actually made it a little bit narrower. So it's 4 7/8, but it's only 1 3/8. You could go the full 2 3/8, but I went a little bit smaller. And then this one is 5 by 1.5. And then the smaller piece that's going to go on there, which we're going to go ahead and attach those together right now. That would be 4 7/8 by 1 3/8. So just 1/8 of an inch smaller all the way around. So I'm going to go ahead and put those together. And this particular paper does kind of have a direction to it. It's not super evident, but I think in this one you can kind of see that. To me, that looks like that's the upright. So just if your paper is directional, kind of make sure you cut it correctly. And then for this one, for this pattern, this is going to be on the front of the card. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to line up the three sides equidistant and leave a little bit showing here on the left. Okay, so those three are put together, and I'm going to go ahead and attach those. Here you can see I want to go ahead and attach it to the inside. So the next thing I'm going to do is take my card base, and I'm going to attach this piece directly to my card base. So you can either put together the designer series paper on it first or attach it to the base. It doesn't really matter which one you do first. Now I'm going to take this smaller inside, attach that to the right, and I just want it to all the way around. Evenly spaced all the way around is what I'm trying to say. You know, I tell you, I have a hard time working and talking at the same time, crafting and talking at the same time. Does that bother you? I don't know. Anyway, okay, now this piece I am going to go ahead and attach on here because I'll show you what I'm going to do. I didn't want it too bulky, so I didn't want my ribbon, see I've got the ribbon, to go around the back. Actually, I'm going to attach the ribbon first, and I'll tell you why. So if you've purchased the card kit, it'll come with the ribbon already attached. I mean, already cut for you. But I'm going to use a piece of tear and tape, and I'm going to put it along the long edge because I'm going to just cover that seam with this ribbon. And then I'm going to cut it at the top and the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and put the tear and tape there. And I know it says you can tear it, but I don't know about you. I always have problems when I tear it. So I'm not tearing it, I'm cutting it. All right, and then I want to give it a good burnish so that it's gonna stick. And then I'm gonna come in and take that paper off of it. There we go. Set that aside. And then I am going to attach, let's see, this ribbon. And the reason why I'm going to have it hang it over a little bit, hang it over the side, and then come in and cut it. And that's why I wanted to attach the ribbon before I attach this to the card base. And I'm going to just go ahead and come in, and these are my ribbon scissors. I do have scissors I specifically only use with fabric. I guess you could call them my fabric scissors, but because really the only fabric I use for card making is ribbon. There we go. And if you need to, see how that frayed a little bit? I'm going to just come in and kind of clean that up a little bit. There we go. Okay, so this is, by the way, this ribbon, isn't this pretty? It's the Old Olive Specialty Rick Rack. It's actually part of the Cute as a Bug suite, but I really love the color and how well it goes with this suite, so I'm using it for that one. Okay, so now I can go ahead and attach this piece to my card front. It comes together pretty easily for but I think it's a really fun design. And you could think of, you know, so many fun ways you can use this with so many different sets. All right, so now the mechanism for the inside, I'm going to go ahead and stamp. Let's do all of our stamping now, and then we'll attach that, that mechanism. So let's see, I've got Happy Birthday, and this Happy Birthday is from this set. The sentiment is from the set. So I'm using Secret Sea ink for the Happy Birthday. So I am going to have it, see how this is over a little bit to the left because part of this is kind of tucked under. So just go ahead and stamp that. And then my leaf is going to be stamped with Old Olive. Set that aside. And I want the leaf to kind of peek out from behind that, having trouble seeing it. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp it like right in the corner there. And then when I get it all done, it'll just, part of it'll just be peeking out. I thought that was kind of cute. All right, and then we'll do the other stamping for the front of the card after we're done. So I'm going to close this, right? burnish that on both sides. This is going to go on the front, so the fold is to the back, right? Fold it to the back. Put this on the front and just attach it all with liquid glue. Not too much, you don't want it gushing out everywhere. There we go, just nice and equidistant all the way around. And then, so you can either use liquid glue or tear and tape here. I think I'm gonna go ahead and put a piece of tear and tape on there. Just because it holds. They both hold well, but it doesn't give me any wiggle room, and I don't have to wait for it to dry in order to get a good hold. But either one will work. Okay, once again, burnish that, make sure it's good, it's down, and pull this up. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm bringing my card in, make sure you can see that, and I'm gonna line it up. I don't wanna be right on the crease because I want it to be able to close. So just a little bit off the crease, and then I'm making sure it's centered top to bottom. But just a little bit off the crease. And there we go. Press it down. And then it's gonna fold like that. So that way when it folds, it won't interfere with the mechanism. And then you can probably see what's gonna happen next. We're gonna just close these two sides, and that's your mechanism. So tear and tape again. Now I'm gonna put it on this side so that I make sure that I have the right length. If I put it here and it's too long, you know, it could be, I could be a miscue. So do that. Now this side, and I want it all the way to the edge so that I leave room for that card to slide in and out. As you know by now, give it a good burnish and pull this up. So if you like my video, I'd love it for you to give me a thumbs up. It helps other people find me. If you like the video, if you want to subscribe, you'll be notified when I upload other videos. I haven't started doing them live yet. I find it's just easier for me to record them. But if you want to be notified when I do videos, just hit that subscribe button. And if you comment, that really helps me a lot, because that's when other people gives a way for other people to find me. So that would be wonderful if you could do that. All right, so now we're going to decorate. So you saw how we did the inside. That's done. That's our mechanism. And now we're going to decorate the front. So I've already die cut. This is the Designer Series paper. I thought that green was really pretty and it gave a lot of interest, and it's easier to just die cut the paper than it is to stamp and then die cut. So I thought it was a good idea. Okay, here we go. So this is our sentiment. It says sending smiles. And the die that comes, there's a die that comes with this set that I'm going to use to die cut that. And then we're going to, the two flowers. This again is Secret Sea. I do love this color. I'll be sad when it retires, but we've got it for another year, so I'm going to enjoy it while I can. And so then this is the smaller flower. And then we're going to color them. I'm going to just color the insides. I kept it simple. Better move that so I don't stick my finger in it. I'm going to just start with the light Stampin' Blend. And actually, I'm going to start with the dark. I'm going to start with the dark, just in the center. right over that secret C. And then I'm gonna go ahead and do just the center here with the dark. And now I'm gonna come back with the light, and now I'm using the bullet pen, okay? And I'm kind of dragging some of the darker color into the center, and then just using the lines that Stampin' Up! Gave us to color a little bit. And then I'm also, like this leaf would be shaded because of the overlap. So I'm going over the shading as well as on those highlights. And then these two sides, it's like the petal is kind of, the back side of the petal is kind of lifted up. So I'm gonna leave that light. Just kind of do that. And then same thing here. This one's a little bit easier because it's pretty straightforward. The other one, because it had the, because it's the side, it's a little trickier, I guess. I don't know. Here we go. So again, kind of dragging the darker ink to soften that edge there. Kind of dragging that darker ink to the middle. And then, so I kind of go over it, and then I'll go back and kind of look at it and see, I think it looks pretty good. Again, I just want to soften those edges there. So pretty straightforward. And then I'm going to bring in my die cutting machine, and we're going to go ahead and die cut that. So let me move all this stuff off to the side. Do this last bit of die cutting. And here's the Sending Smiles. That's the sentiment. I think because that one really needs to be straight, I think I'm going to go ahead and tape it down. Let's see if I can. I've already got tape on these other ones. I might have to take it off just to see how it lines up. So this one's pretty straightforward, right? The other one can be a little tricky lining it up. So let's see. So see this kind of hump there? So that one lines up there, and then this triple one lines up there. So that's kind of how what I focus on to try and get it all lined up. Now, if you've purchased the card kit at home, what you'll find is that you have, oh, I need my top plate. You have the die cuts done for you, and you'll have to stamp them. You know, I can't stamp images because of Stampin' Up's policy. Demonstrators are not allowed to pre-stamp images for customers. We can die cut images, but we can't stamp them. It's a copyright issue. So, so you'll have to, you'll have to have the dies or the stamps, excuse me, to be able to do these, make this card the way I made it. Now you can certainly use, if you've got other things, other stamps and dies, you can use those to decorate the front any way you want. So this is pretty straightforward. I am going to put this on dimensionals, and I'm only going to use, I just have to be careful because I do want it to overlap a little bit. So I want to make sure I only put my dimensionals on this side. So what I like to do is kind of turn it over, so then I know not to put anything here, and I'll just put those two there. And then put that, I want to overlap that ribbon a little bit. And then of course, since this has stripes on it, it really makes it easy to line it up. And then what I'm going to do here, so you see this flap, I want to hide that. I don't know why, I just don't like that. So I'm kind of turning this around there, maybe that way. maybe this way. Yeah, I think like that. So that's kind of what I'm going for, because I want to hide this part here so that this is back here. So I want to put dimensionals on this part, and then I can glue this part down. So first thing I'm going to do is put a little adhesive here. Well, no, I don't want to put adhesive there because it's going to be on dimensionals. Silly me. There we go. So I'm going to take this around and just put that like that. And I didn't take the backing off of it. I'm just kind of trying to line it up. All right, so I'm going to put adhesive on this smaller flower because I'm going to lay it all down together. I'm making this more complicated than it really needs to be, tell you the truth. But in order to line it up, I just kind of felt like I wanted to do that. So put that one down. Okay, I know that's going to go right about there, but I want to put my leaves in. So you've got 2 of a double and 1 of a single is what I used. Here, I'll show you, these are the dies. So there's 1 single die and 2 of the doubles. So I just cut, yeah, obviously 2 of these and 1 of these. And they do have like little holes in them. So you do have to be a little bit careful when you attach your adhesive, because you don't want that gooshing out all over. So I know I want that about there. So actually that way. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put it in now, because I can trim the leaves, the stems, if they're too long and they get in my way. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Like that. And then I know I'm going to want that one there. And it is going to hang over a little bit. So I'm going to just put a little bit of adhesive on this side and on the bottom. And then I'm going to just slip that in there. Okay. And then this one, I wanted it to kind of overlap a little bit. That's going to be too much. Let me see. I put this one lower than my original one. There we go. If I did that one like that. See, each time you do it is a little bit different. I should have probably waited. I can still slip this one underneath here. I'm going to trim it. This is real life here, folks. My scissors go. All right. So I want that one. There we go. We're going to put that one there. So give it just a little bit of adhesive. There we go. Slip that under there. And then this one, might have to trim off the end so that I can get it where I want it. I'm debating, do I want to put it on a dimensional? Maybe I'll just slip it under there. That's not going to work. There we go. I'll put it there. Maybe that one will go there. Oh my goodness, you're probably saying, just finish it already. I'll do that. Well, if you stayed with me till the end, I certainly appreciate it. Oh, gosh. I've got another fun fold coming up soon as well. Another one from this class. There we go. There we go. And last but not least, we've got these Moody Palette Glossy Dots. And I put white in the originals, but I think blue, green, I think I'm going to do the dark ones. Oh, these are the Secret Sea. Love these colors in this set. So I'll start with the lighter one, kind of up here. And then I'm going to bring in the original, and I want you to tell me whether you think the light blue versus the dark blue pool party makes a difference, and then the dots, if you have a preference. Let me know. Here we go. So there we go. Oh, I don't know. I do kind of like the dark. What do you think? I think it's really pretty. Thanks for sticking with me till the end. I really appreciate it. And as I said before, if you are in need of any of these items to make these cards on your own, I'd love to help you out. You can find everything at my Stampin' Up store, craftyherondesigns.com. And give me a thumbs up if you like what you see, and comment. Let me know if you have a preference for the one with the dark blue with the Secret Sea embellishments, or the white. I think they're both really elegant. And also comment on who would you send this card to. Thanks for joining me. See you soon. Bye for now.